The Young Sheldon Season 6 finale juggled multiple plots, but many likely missed its biggest twist. CBS Family Comedy ended its year with all members of the Cooper family dealing with their respective narratives. Unlike previous season finales, however, the Young Sheldon Season 6 send-off was pretty straightforward. Sheldon and Mary left for Germany, Mandy and Georgie got engaged, and Missy was caught sneaking out with Pastor Jeff's niece, Tanya. While the boy genius and his mother landed in Europe, however, the rest of their family was left to deal with the aftermath of the tornado that passed Medford. Previous Young Sheldon finales arguably had more weight than the Season 6 capper. Despite its 1-hour runtime, it felt like nothing huge had happened that will significantly impact the Coopers' future in Young Sheldon Season 7. The tornado plotline allowed for some drama, which included Mandy and Georgie having to stay at her parents' house, while Missy and Georgie went through a near-death experience on their way home from the airport. The biggest victim of the catastrophe was Mima, however. In the Young Sheldon Season 6 finale, Pastor Jeff accidentally discovered Mima's illegal gambling business while doing his laundry in her establishment. Unfortunately, because of the tornado, he had to stay in the building for an extended period of time, leading him to eventually got in on the back operation. Connie's laundromat and video store-fronted makeshift casino has encountered several problems this year, but considering the Cooper neighbor's judgmental and self-righteous personality, him walking in on Mima's endeavor was the biggest. For context, Pastor Jeff almost had the legal video store shut down just because it was renting films for more mature viewers. Due to Pastor Jeff's self-aggrandizing nature, he has created problems for the Coopers several times in the past. Back in Young Sheldon Season 5, he heartlessly fired Mary after he learned about Georgie and Mandy's unexpected pregnancy. He also didn't do anything while the rest of the congregation gossiped about Sheldon's family, despite everything that they have done for him. Pastor Jeff learning about Mima's gambling den could very well be the end of Connie's business and main source of income, especially if shutting it down becomes his mission. There was no doubt that Pastor Jeff was going to tattle about Mima's illegal gambling den. Not only was it in his nature, but his history also suggested that it didn't matter that Connie and Dale offered him shelter while the tornado was passing through Medford. Before this problem could even sink in, Mima was faced with a much bigger dilemma in the Young Sheldon Season 6 finale. Once the weather cleared up, she went back home to his house almost fully wrecked by the tornado. It was heartbreaking to see her stand in front of the rubble, especially with some of her saved-up money wet and scattered around. Seeing her at her lowest point, however, Pastor Jeff surprisingly showed some compassion. Not only did he express his sympathy, but he also promised not to tattle about her gambling den, essentially allowing it to continue operating. Amid everything that happened in the Young Sheldon Season 6 finale, it's easy to overlook this particular moment in the show. It was far too brief, and the series didn't spend any time tackling the aftermath of Pastor Jeff's revelation. That being said, it is significant in Mima's future. Not only does it allow her to continue making money off of the makeshift casino, but it will also be a tremendous help in rebuilding her house. Beyond her own benefit, the illegal gambling den guarantees that Georgie has a job, especially as he and Mandy plan for their wedding. Of course, there's a possibility that Pastor Jeff walks back on his promise. Despite what he thinks, he isn't exactly morally good. Given this, there's always a chance that Mima's business will be shut down. In the meantime, however, she can continue making money off of it going into Young Sheldon Season 7.